Hello, my beautiful cuddlebugs. Welcome to Ramblings of a Book Dragon, where we dive into the warmth of good books and unravel stories that feel like a literary hug. I'm Allie, your host, and I'm thrilled to embark on another cozy adventure with you. So grab a cup of your favorite beverage, snuggle into your cozy reading nook, and let's begin. But before we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe so that you won't miss a single episode. I really value your feedback and recommendations. Now let's begin. Today I'm reviewing A Trinket for the Taking by Victoria Laurie and performed by Krista Lewis. And this is going to be spoilery, but I'm going to try my best to not be too spoilery, as is my usual. But we follow a woman named Devi Van Dalen, who she is a witch. She's a witch. In this world, they're called mystics or bound. Humans are called unbound. This is supposed to be her 200th birthday. She was supposed to have a wonderful experience, spend time with her boss, Elric, who also was the one who turned her into a witch, because in this world, the bound mystics are able to turn humans, mortals, unbound into witches themselves. So I really found that to be interesting with the magic world building. It was funny because it just sounded familiar to something that I had read a while ago. I don't remember the name of the book, but it's just cute. Basically she is a witch, and this was supposed to be her 200th birthday. It was supposed to be perfectly romantic, but then it turned out that this powerful trinket, was stolen. And in this world, they not only can say spells and send up balls of energy at people, like they can do that. They can do the normal witchy things, but then there's also trinkets. Trinkets are objects that can be infused with magic to do a variety of things, but these are done by people that are generally more powerful. There's different classes of people, different levels, and also different levels of the trinkets. Each trinket, when it's infused with something, has a certain amount of times that it will work before it goes bad. Everything goes bad eventually, but the more powerful the trinket, the longer it lasts, the better it does its job. I did like the way that she handled the trinkets. There were some things that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit with this, but I'm going to get into that with a more spoilery type of review, because of course we must give some spoilers because that's the way I operate. But I'm going to try to start with the more non-spoilery things that are basically from the back of the book. And this trinket, it's a Merlin class ring. It's going to kill people. If anyone looks at it, they die the way that they're most scared of doing. And there's various factions in this world, and it's supposed to be this faction from Italy had come for this conference, basically a mystic conference, and her boss Elric is like, okay, you need to retrieve this because we can't let it get into the hands of the wrong people. If the wrong people use it, then the unbound normal humans are going to figure out that we're witches, all hell will break loose, blah blah blah, all the usual fun stuff, all the usual dramatics. And because she's very good at finding things, this is her job. And Elric also is extremely problematic. And I found it interesting that while we got hints that she knew that there was something wrong, that she was sort of seeing the red flags, I didn't like how those red flags were kind of brushed to the side. Like, she was still in love with him even after 200 years. And it's like, oh, woman, like, listening to this book, I'm like, okay, I mean, at least at the beginning, she was rightfully angry when she was first bound, and she found out that Elric, when he was bound a long, long time ago, the person who bound him also bound him to this other woman who is also now a mystic, but they became husband and wife, and because of the way that they were married, it's only to death do them part. And because they're both equally powerful beings, they really haven't had a chance to do that. And of course, they're just extremely toxic because they like to try to hurt each other's people, like their most top dogs. Like Devi, she was supposed to die a couple of times throughout the 200 years because of the wife, but Elric managed to save her because she is basically his favorite, even though he also goes out and parades other women around, and that's just the way he's always been. And I also get that he's also an immortal, basically an immortal being who's been around for a very, very long time, and just is kind of like, yeah, this is the way it is. This is the way I operate. So we can't expect that man to come to the modern era, especially since when they first met, it was like in the 1800s. And so it was a very different time period. But also she was just like 21, and he didn't tell her anything. And he just was like, yeah. And when she was angry at him, rightfully so. And she just kind of grew to accept and become compliant with the fact that he slept with other women. He was fine with this, but he was never fine with her trying to do things with other men. Like, it sounded like she never really even tried. She never wanted to anyway, but she knew that he discouraged it. And as we get through our modern time in our book, she knows that he could do something very easily to a mortal man and no one would know, because he's super powerful. Of course, and that was kind of the thing that was kind of making me roll my eyes a little bit too throughout this book. But that's not the point. That's neither here nor there. So these people, this family starts to drop like flies. They all commit suicide in just the ways that they're just terrified of doing. And we get 3 dead bodies. And so she's having to figure out, okay, not only who has this ring and who's targeting, but why is someone targeting this family? Like, what's going on? And they're this wealthy, powerful, well-connected family, and it's just a lot of bad things happening there as well, because they run pharmaceuticals from Greece, and there's some alleged stuff going on where they may potentially do black market drug ring stuff. And so, but she's trying to figure all this out. But meanwhile, we have an FBI agent named Gibb who has been assigned to the case, and they butt heads from the beginning. Well, they don't even really butt heads. She uses magic on him to get him to look away, and but he's also suspicious of, like, why is this random woman? Like, I feel like it's trying to be a little bit like if you've seen Miss Franny's Murder Adventures, except their banter and their sass was just chef's kiss, because she forces herself in Franny. And she is just iconic because it's 20s slapper era, and she also has a bit of that oh so perfection thing going on here. But like in this book, it just seemed like everything was perfect in a way that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like the FBI agent Gibb, he's a former model, and when they go to talk to someone, the receptionist, who's a bit of a, I guess, not exactly the brightest crown on the box, but she said, oh, you should be models. And I just, okay, there's just a lot going on. But she's trying to figure all this out, and she has a variety of trinkets that she has at her disposal that are able to help her kind of snoop and sleuth and do all these things. And that was cute. That was fun. That made sense. But then the thing that bugged me is we have her having to go because she wants to fix this watch that Gibb has, and she wants to infuse this with magic to protect him from Elric. And in order to do that, of course, she has to do something in turn for the Merlin person, not the Merlin, but a Merlin. And she has to go steal back a trinket from this thief named Lavender. And Lavender it felt like read the room, girl. Like, especially at the end. We're not getting into spoilers, but it's just like, girl, chill out. Like, we're kind of in an... I kind of wish we had a bit... If, like, our girl is trying to be sweet and mild and coy throughout the entire book. And I get that, but why didn't we have any read the room, Lavender? We're trying not to die here. Like, it just seemed like Lavender, it just, okay. Like, it's like, okay, people, like, let's calm down. But she's working with Gibb, and she's starting to feel feelings for him. Like, she likes the boy. And of course, it's because he's hot, and he's a former model turned FBI agent, but he's also is a good man who actually cares about other people. It's just, I don't know. There's just some things that were just really just mainly the red flags of the boss of Elric, and she's just like, okay, like she's just grown used to it and accepted it, but she also kind of knows that he's dangerous. Like he will ask her, "Do you still love me?" And he will use the magic on her to get the truthful answer. And it's just like, oh, we don't like this. So I'm kind of. It seems like we're kind of. It's the veil is starting to lift after 200 years, but we're not quite there yet. We're not there yet, even by the end of the book. Like, she loves him, but not like she used to, because she now likes this mortal boy. Like, no, 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 no. We don't, this isn't good. I do really like the friendship that she has with this other mystic named Ursula. And Ursula isn't very powerful, but what she does really well is love spells. And that's also a bit problematic in and of itself, even though it doesn't force anyone to fall in love. The love potions can help you see people for the better. But I really like the fact, I kind of wish we had more time with Ursula, more girly pop stuff happening with them, because Ursula does go with her at first to examine things, but then she's kind of just left to the side as now we must have our moments with Gib, of course. But yeah, there were just times when the trinkets, it seemed like how they were cool, and I really liked the fact that the author kind of understood that, okay, you're going to collect a lot of trinkets. So you're going to have a lot of stuff in your house, a lot of crap in your house, especially since anything can be turned into a trinket. Like, it doesn't. And there's even a point where she goes to Elric's stash because she's wanting to find something to protect herself and I mean, to protect others as well, and to protect this woman that may potentially was exposed to the ring, and she had tried to commit suicide, but luckily she was able to stop it from happening. So she wanted to get a trinket to help protect her. And at first, the guy that was there, that is basically the guardian of the trinkets, he was going to get this bust of Julius Caesar, and he's like, I'm not going to convince her to take this and carry this with her all the time. And eventually they settled on a diamond bracelet. It's like, of course it's going to be a diamond bracelet because and it just seemed like it was a lot of absolutes and a lot of extremes. Like, mystics always lie. Mystics always do these things. There's all these power struggles. Like, I understand that she was trying to kind of explain more about the world. She was trying to do this world building, but it just felt like these absolute extremes. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Something about it was just, I didn't quite like as much as I thought I would with that, because I liked the idea of it, and we are getting a book 2. So I'm interested to see if we can learn more about the world instead of her just telling us about it. It would be nice to also kind of experience that a little bit more too, because we basically spent most of our time amongst humans, amongst mortals, and she used trinkets, and there were a couple of times where it was Due Machina, whatever that phrase is, where it's, of course, she is able to use a trinket to save her life because she's able to turn back time 3 bloody minutes, and she uses it a couple of times, and it's this heart-shaped locket, and she's able to use it a couple of times because she's having to steal from this petty thief who basically is living on her own. And then also the fact that this thief being on her own instead of being part of a faction is considered bad. It's looked down upon. And it's like, okay, but she had a snake as a guardian that almost killed Devi a couple of times, and like, okay. But we also have a really cute familiar hedgehog named Bits. And I really liked Bits because he'll just curl himself up into a ball, and he's really cute and really squeaky and will chuff at her. And he will but he also was infused to be kind of a bit more magical too, to live with her for a long time. I don't know how long he's been alive, but he's been infused for a long time. And of course, this was something Elric did. I hope we get it sounds like she's kind of bound to him as her master, mentor, whatever we want to call this in the book. I don't remember what the term was, but I'm hoping we get something between Dovey and Elric in the future. Like, he's more powerful, so I'm curious to see how we're going to kind of ease back on this sleeping with the enemy type of control. I mean, not even really, like, it seems like it's something that could get really, 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 really bad, really, 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 really fast as soon as Elric really, really realizes whom she is heart-eyeing that is not him. And are we going to get into some toxic maleness, or is he kind of just going to let her go? Because he looked disappointed at the end of the book when she said that she still loved him, and it sounded like he realized that it wasn't the same type of love that he was used to. So I'm curious to see what the direction is with the book. But the hedgehog bits, he will help Dovey with picking out clothes. I found that to be cute, but also some of the times where it was help me figure out what to wear, and Bits will look at these clothes and she'll be like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. And like, okay, girl, okay. But the mystery of it all, I thought that was interesting, especially at the end when it was revealed who the killer was, and I'm not going to reveal who that was, because while I am spoilery, it's more about random bits of the book. So I hope it's not too spoilery, but I do my best to not reveal who did it, what the reasoning was. But I thought that was interestingly well put together, especially since it was just a little bit of a blurb of a sentence from earlier in the book that kind of helped realize who it was. It's like, okay. But at the same time, it was a bit spoon-fed-y because she asked someone else a question and he answered, and it's like, oh yeah, I knew you wouldn't have known this. Like, okay, girl, like, chill out. Yeah, like I gave it a 3 out of 5 because it was cute and I'm curious, and there were some things that bugged me, but it wasn't as bad as some other books that we know. I just wanted to kind of give an overview of the book, and I did really enjoy the magic system and the fact that they're not just dependent on trinkets. It is also saying spells. It is also doing this magic. But yeah, the whole thing with Lavender and her wanting to get the revenge, and her kind of just like, I'm gonna kill you, and she's already in this situation. Well, and then that was the thing too with this trinket. It's like, of course there was enough juice. Yeah. I'm not spoiling the end, but yeah, that kind of just annoyed the ever living crap out of me. But like, of course, like, it just, when you get into the moments of course, with a book, that's when it's bad. At least to me, I don't want to have to keep on saying, of course. Of course he's a model. Of course he's now an FBI agent and takes really good care of his body. And of course he eats pizza. Of course she's gorgeous and will wear a cat suit and finally prepare herself for battle. Of course. But I did really like the relationships that we saw with other mystics in the society that were kind of explaining just the world at large. And I really liked Bits. I thought that was cute that we have a hedgehog familiar. And I did like the fact that we have trinkets, but it also seemed kind of a little confusing that like they were being traded, and people of certain levels of magic are able to create better trinkets than others. So it's like, but I like the fact that there is a clean out day of trinkets that are just no longer working as well or don't work at all anymore. So like, you need to kind of figure out how to get rid of your crap. So that was nice that we had that moment as well. So I'm definitely going to read the next book when it comes out. I don't remember when it is, but I'm curious to see how the author is going to handle the fact that we are kind of heart-eyeing this boy and also what other kinds of drama are we going to have? Because this was just a 1-part murder mystery where everything was solved in the end. So is it going to be solving more murder mysteries? Is it going to be another case? Are we going to kind of do more in the mystic world itself? Now, I think that would be really fun because right now it was mainly about mortals, unbound, whatever. And it would be interesting to see what kind of happens more in the courts, more in the political system, because we got this idea, but it was more of her telling us. And I would rather be kind of shown a little bit more instead of just being told, oh yeah, mystics generally do this. Mystics always do this. Mystics always are like this. We have all these things. And it was her explaining it to us as Dovey telling the audience about this world. which is okay. But it felt like it was just a lot of that. And it would be nice if we were shown that with the system instead. And like we got a little bit of showing with the different levels, but it was also a lot of her telling us. And I'm hoping that in the second book we get a lot more of the showing of the characters, of the power of everything. But at least it wasn't like her trying to say, oh yeah, I'm the most powerful, I'm the baddest bitch. It wasn't anything like that. But she definitely, it'll be interesting to see how this continues to grow. So these are my random ass thoughts. I hope you liked it. We didn't get any kissing or touching or smooching, but she was able to see Gib shirtless, and she basically dropped the cappuccino maker, and he knew why he liked it. So I thought that was a cute moment. But I'm curious to see how that is all going to continue to play out. Is she going to try to... It sounds like this is going to be a slow burn relationship because, of course, he also doesn't know that she's a mystic and she's kept that from him and everything. So I'm very curious. But those are my thoughts, as random as they are, and I will catch you cuddlebugs next time. Again, as always, if you have any book recommendations, please let me know, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.